Hello and welcome, I am Helle from Game for Life PG, and today I'm going to take a look at Aeon's End Legacy. And this is a game for 1 to 4 players. It takes about 60 minutes to play and is for the ages 14 plus. And in this video I will come with my impression of the game, but first I want to talk about what the game is all about. And Aeon's End Legacy is a cooperative deck building game, and you are going to explore things as you play the game. The setup I have here is for the very first chapter. So you have an introduction where you're going to see what you need to open of these. You have different decks where you have a stop, and you're only going to open and read them when you are instructed to. And at the start of the game, each player, they're going to select one of the different heroes. They're going to name their hero, they're going to give them a name, and then they're going to start with 10 health. And then you're going to have a market with 9 different type of cards which you can buy. You're going to have some gem cards, that is what you can buy for. On the top you have a price, then you have the thing you're going to gain and what type of card it is. So this is a gem which you can use to buy cards. So you're going to have 3 gem cards, then you're going to have 2 relic cards, which is cards that can help you. And you're going to have some that can say any player, that can be yourself or any of your other players. Or if you have an ally, then it's not yourself, then it's one of the other players, which you can use the ability on if you have the card to your hand. Then you have some spell cards. And all these spell cards, most of them, they will deal damage. So this is cards you can have that can deal damage. In the game, you're going to fight against not a monster, but you're going to fight against something. In this case, it's the maelstrom. So it is different. I would normally call them monsters that you're going to fight against. They're going to start with some health, and then they have some rules to them. And on the back side, you can see the setup. So this is the very first one you are going to try to defeat. And you need to work together, and you need to defeat this nemesis. Let's just call it a nemesis. They are all nemesis in different variations. They have their own deck of cards, and here they're going to come minions, they're going to come power cards. There are different type of cards you can encounter. You can encounter minions, you can encounter attack cards. When they do the unleash, they're going to activate the power on the monster you are fighting. In this case, Gravehold will suffer 3 damage. Gravehold is your city. That is what you are protecting. If Gravehold ever comes down to 0 health, then you are going to lose the game. So you need to protect Gravehold, and of course do it in the very best way you can. If you lose all of your life, you will be exhausted. You will still be within the game, but it's not as good, because if you take more damage, then Gravehold is going to take the damage. And you need to protect Gravehold. Then you have this type of card. This is the power cards, and you can overcome it if you can fulfill the top part, or otherwise that will go 2 times. You have to put some power tokens on them. Each time nemesis, they have their turn. When a nemesis card is drawn, then you have to remove one. And if the last token is removed, then the power will go off if you haven't managed to get rid of it. Some of the powers you can't get rid of. That is the 3 different type of cards you're going to see in this deck. With the minions, they are going to come into play with health, and then they will have a persistent effect. It will not be, the persistent effect will not be activated in the turn when you draw it, but the next time you draw a nemesis card, then it will be affected. So in this game, you're going to start with 10 basic cards, which are the same at the start of the game. Later in the game, the players, they will have different start cards they're going to start with for how they evolve their character. And the game is, you have for 4 players, now I have played it solo, but if you are more players, then each player, they're going to have one of these with their name written on it. And then you are going to have 2 nemesis cards. And when the cards are drawn, then that player or the nemesis is going to get their turn. On a player's turn, if we were drawn, then we get to do our action first. First, we can fire or cast any spells we have up here. This spell here, for example, deals 3 damage. So we would be able to deal this one 3 damage, or we could give it to Nemesis. And we could just defeat this one, so it would be out of the game. It can't attack us anymore. And then you get to use the cards you have in your hand. So here I could prep another spell on an open breach. I have one more spell. I don't have any open breaches. Then I can pay to focus a breach. So with this one I could pay 3 to focus it. So if I pay 3, I can focus it, and then I may place a spell on it. So I could pay 3 cards to put a spell on it. Instead of doing that, I could also just buy a card from the market. With 3, I would be able to buy this one for 2, this one for 3, or this one for 3, where I can gain more money, I can gain a new spell, or I could gain some other abilities if I had the money for it. When you buy a card, you're going to place it here, or if you have cast a spell, you will place it in your discard pile. After that, you can arrange your cards in any order. These are the same, but you will arrange them to your discard pile, and then you're going to draw 5 new cards. After you are going to draw, when you are empty, you need to take your discard pile and place it here. You're not going to shuffle your cards. That's important. Not in Nemesis, but in Aeon's End, you do not shuffle your cards. You're just going to flip it over and then draw 4 cards. So in that way, you can stack your deck, put the kind of the money together, or you can put some of the attack cards together, and in that way, make your deck powerful in that way. And you know, in the order they are going to come, the cards. And that would be the end of your turn. Then you will draw a new card. Then it would be Nemesis. If this one had still been out here, let's say it still had a life, then you're going to do the persistent effect. Any player suffers a damage. And if you are more players, you can determine who is going to suffer this damage. In this case, if you're playing solo, it will always be you. But you can talk amongst the players and decide who is going to lose a health or anything else. It could be lose cards. It can be different things you need to lose. And then after you have done the persistent effect of any cards you have out here, and you're going to take them in the order they entered, so the oldest to the newest. You're going to draw a new card. This one said Unleash. Then you're going to deal Gravehold 3 damage. And after that, then the assist, you're going to draw an assist card. And then you're going to read the ability and do what it says. I'm not going to look at those. That is for you to discover if you want to play it and don't want to know what these do. But I will show you, of course, something, but for the first chapter. You are going to resolve this one, read the text on it. These cards, they are going to help you in this first. You need to get 99, give this one 99 damage. That is a lot of damage. So I can promise you that these cards, they are going to assist you. They are going to help you to overcome the Maelstrom. Then, after that, you're going to shuffle these cards. And you're just going to flip. This time it was Nemesis. They were going to give us 1 damage. Another player might take damage here. You're going to take the next card. And now we have a new one that is going to appear. It's going to have 4 in health. And it will deal Gravehold 2 damage when it is activated. And then you would draw the next card. And it would be the player's turn. And then they can give 3 damage. So you can either give this one 1 damage, or you can give this one 3. But I can use this one to give 1 in damage. You cannot divide your damage. You can't divide your damage. And this one could give 3 in damage. So we could remove 3 for this one. And then they will only have 1 life left. And we can place this one here. And then you can buy. If I had 2 prep spells, I could buy for 3, but I don't. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we would have 5 money, and maybe we would buy this attack card here for our 5 money, and we would place it in our discard pile, and then we can arrange these cards in any order. We would take this one first, and then our crystal, and then draw 5 cards to our hand. That is the way the game it works. You're going to draw cards to your hand. You're going to always have 5 at the start of at the end of your turn. You might lose cards during your turn, and then you have your turn order deck. that is just going to be shuffled, and everyone is going to get a turn at some point, and Nemesis will always get 2 turns, and you as the good team, you're going to get 4 turns. If you are 2 players, then you will have some of these where you have your then you have 2 each of these, and if you are 4 players, then you're going to have these where you're going to have 2 players, and then they can decide when the first one comes, is Lady or Tiki going to have their turn, and then the next turn, if it was Tiki, then on the next turn it would be Lady. So here you would be able to decide who of you are going to have your turn first, and here we had with 2 other players where you would decide. Then you would have these 4 plus the Nemesis. If you are 3 players, you're going to get a wild, and then as a group you will determine who is going to take the 4th turn, or when the wild card comes out. So that is a thing you can use, and I played it with 3 players, and it works pretty good with the wild one here, where we could determine who is going to get the next turn. We tried to divide it among us, but sometimes it does make sense that you are going to get turn because you can defeat this minion, or you can defeat a power card, or something else that made sense in that way. So this is a very cooperative game where you're going to really cooperate and think about who is going to get the turn, who is going to go for what, because you need both money, you need money that you can buy, that you also can use to overcome different power cards, but you also need to have different attack cards, and then you're going to have some cards that you can buy that can help your allies, that can help your friends in getting better. So yeah, I think this is a really, really great deck building cooperative game. And the campaign in this game, you have you are going to start with reading for each chapter. You're going to read a text for each chapter, and then you are going through a story. You're going to get a story that is going to evolve over all of the different chapters, and you're going to discover different cards that are going to also be bad for you. You might get some cards where you need to write your name on them, and then you know that maybe a player, they have something really bad in the deck that is going to come up in the next chapter, and that you can also take into consideration when you have to think of who is going to get damage and who is going to maybe lose some cards or do different things that are going to happen you as you play this campaign. I really, really think it works great. I have played it 2 times through the legacy. First time was in 2019 where we were 4 players, and we enjoyed it very much. And we lost 3 of the games in all. And if you lose 1 chapter, you can replay it 1 time, but if you lose it again, then you are going to go on to the next chapter. So you can max play a chapter 2 times. The last group I played with we played it over 1 day and then a Sunday. We played 7 chapters on Saturday. It took us about 11 hours, so I think it does say 1 hour for a game. The first chapter is pretty quick. The second chapter is also, but then it will take longer time for the different chapters, I think, to play the game. So for us, it took about 11-12 hours, maybe 12-13 hours to play all 8 chapters. But we had great fun playing the game, and the cooperative part, the interactions you have, and the story-driven element, and the cards are going to evolve. You're going to get stickers on here. You're going to evolve your character. Really something I enjoyed playing, and I enjoy playing with play. Yeah, and I enjoy experiencing this with a group, and we're going to experience the story. We're going to evolve our characters, and some of the games were very, very close, where we were down to the last card, where it was like, when we have to shuffle, and it was like, okay, if Nemesis has their turn first, then we might lose. We need to get our turn first to be able to win. If some of them were so close. And with the second group, when we played last weekend, we managed actually to win all of our games. Some of them were very close, and we could easily have lost them if we had been unlucky. But we really managed to work very well together in the group, and also develop our different characters and choose some actions, choose some abilities that really help us at group. And you also have to, after you have played a chapter, you're going to get 4 new cards you can choose for the market. You're going to choose 2 of them, so you can exchange a gem for another type of gem card. You can exchange a relic or a spell, but you have to choose 2 and only 2 and exchange them. And there are some decisions in what you choose of those cards that can also have impact on how well you're going to do later in the game. And somehow we managed to do something. I think we made some great choices in our market and also with upgrading our characters. So we had some really great games. Yeah, so I just wanted to express what I feel about Aeon's End Legacy, and I will just say I love and enjoy this game very much, especially the Legacy version here, where we are going through a campaign. Awesome, and really great if you have a weekend and could just play it in one straight, because then you are all in it. Because if you have like maybe 2 or 3 weeks in between where you play each chapter, then you have to recall, where were we? And you can't remember maybe everything about the story you're going through. That is so great if you can just set off 1 or 2 days and then just play through it. Yeah, a marathon Aeon's End Legacy play. That was just my look at Aeon's End Legacy. I wanted to express and tell you a little bit about this game if you don't know it, and if you are into deck building game, if you're into cooperative games, then this is definitely something I can highly recommend. I have made one solo playthrough of the first chapter, so if you want to learn something about it and want to see the first chapter, then you can go and watch that one. But yeah, that was my look at Aeon's End Legacy. Thanks for watching.